The next one is personal story, and I don't think I even wrote notes about the personal story. I tried the personal story. The idea of the personal story, at least from what I got from them, was that most RPGs has just one storyline, because they don't have dynamic events, just one storyline, and everybody follows the same quest along the entire path of the game. And since everybody's doing the same thing, no one really cares about your character, because all the characters have the same damn storyline. Their solution, somewhat of a very difficult thing they did, was make a huge variety, still all static, of storylines for you. And they say, well, this way you'll have a lot of different storylines to play with, and you'll be different than most other people in your storyline, or from other characters anyway, but you will still probably have a storyline that's going to be exactly the same as some others, because they only made so many, and they made these static lines that you follow. It's just like the script. The script only has so many paths that it can follow. There are storylines that only have so many paths that can follow, because they put in cutscenes and such like that. And if you want the cutscenes, then you're limiting yourself, because they have to make every single cutscene, you know, and that means they have to manually do this crap, and your stories are then limited because this other stuff that they feel people want, the cutscenes and the scripted storylines, and dialect and such like that. And if that's the kind of thing you want, there are plenty of personal story single-player games out there that you can just go out and do. Now, what would have made this unique is if it really made an impact on the world, which it doesn't. They say it does, but it doesn't. There are a few extra NPCs you get, kind of, sort of, might make an impact on your storyline, but no one really cares about your storyline because it's just you. It's like this added single-player addition they put into the game for you. No, I'm against it. If you're gonna try to put storylines in there, I'm okay with that, but it makes it very static because of the way they make the storylines. You have to put randomness. It has to actually make it actually unique for anyone to give a damn, and actually make it worth a while in the story, the main story of the world. But since your world is so static, you can't do that, so you're forced to just do this half-assed thing on the side to give storylines to those people who care about it, to try and get a few more customers that would normally buy single-player RPGs. It's just BS. It shouldn't be in there unless it's done right, and it wasn't done right. And I don't know why they say it's unique, except for the fact that most RPGs just have one single storyline, and this one has a variety to go through. I make it sound great, but it's really just very static and has no part of the actual RPG, the role-playing you have of it. It's like this extra side thing that you do in the world. And it makes you feel very insignificant and like the world doesn't matter, and they're all about how the world should be dynamic and change based on what you do, but it so doesn't. I think I said what I had to say about that. And this is not the only extra part that they have. It's like they call it the mini game on the side. That's their personal story. They also have PvP, but they don't have PvP in the RPG aspect of it. They have this separate PvP thing where you go to and you face other real people, which is fine, except it's just a mini game. It's a side game. In fact, it's a completely different part of the game. They should have marketed completely different, called it Guild Wars 2 Arena or something, because it has no impact on the RPG game at all. You just go in there and you start fighting, you know, in these team deathmatch weird-ass things. You get points and you just keep doing that. You join servers and You face 5-on-5 or whatever, which is fine. You know, I like those kind of games, but I'm trying to look for a good RPG here, and there are plenty of good first-person shooters or team deathmatch game-like things, but there's no RPG aspect to that. You're just setting up some sort of, you know, basic class like you do in Modern Warfare kind of thing, and you attack, and you don't have to level up or anything or follow a story. It's all just combat in a side mini game they have attached to this, trying to basically, they just seem to be trying to please everyone, but in all different games. There's no connection. They gave up on trying to intermingle PvP with the RPG world they made. They just said it was too hard, we're going to keep it separate, so these two groups of people don't interact and they stay together, and they're still calling it RPG even though all these things on the side don't connect at all, and they're just mini games to me on the side. I'm really upset about this because I am. You can't just expect people to enjoy fighting stupid AIs forever. Say you have PvP, but really you don't. You just have it on a separate game that has PvP on it. That's just straight up lie. They also have this siege game kind of thing, which is like PvP, but with like a goal besides just killing people. You're trying to capture a flag or points or forts or something, and which is cool. People like those, always like that sieging aspect of things from those feudal warfare catapults and such like that. People like that. That's fine, but why not put it into the actual RPG world you made? They didn't do that. They made a separate mini game again on the side that you have to go to and play, and it makes very little impact on the real world. Very little. They get maybe pump-ups if you're winning. Everybody gets pump-ups, but they're so tiny and insignificant, like a percent difference. The whole RPG world on the side doesn't care about their little siege world they have. I think it's called like World versus World versus World or something. And even in that, you don't care because it's just a couple weeks and you restart against other people. It's just a mini game on the side again. So they have kind of all the right ideas, the right concepts, but they separated it out. They did not execute very well. They didn't make an RPG. They made a part RPG, and they made like 4 games. Called it one game, and they called it an RPG, but it's not. I'm sorry, you didn't. If you don't put it together, make it count, then you didn't make the RPG with all the aspects you said. You just made several different games together. And it's kind of the part that pisses me off.